tenants that are in the building, right?
Objection, last foundation.
Sustained.
Do you know if there were other tenants that had offices in that building?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
You were on the 5th floor, correct?
Yes.
And when you were walking down the hall, there were other doors there, correct? It wasn't just Dr. Finke. There was other different offices there, correct?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
When you were getting angry, did you believe that your anger would harm your baby?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
When you went to see Dr. Finke, did you tell him, I got so angry right now, something happened, whatever you told, is it harmful to my baby? Did you ask him?
Objection.
Sustained. Counsel, do you have anything to add?
Earlier, well, I'll withdraw that. Did you post anything about the incident of February 24th, 2018 on the internet?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
I think I said something because around that time she did went live and said something, and my fans caught it, and she was just practically saying like all of these lies about me and stuff like that, and I was like, I did not touch that girl at all. I never really got into details about it. I just.
And when she was posting things, she was telling other people that you assaulted her or hit her or did something physical, correct?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Yes.
And then you replied and posted things as well, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember what you posted?
It was. I don't think I posted something. I'm not even sure if it was a comment or like if I did like a live or something. It had to be quick. I was like, that's a fucking lie. Fuck out of here. Trying to get some money.
What was that?
I said, that's a fucking lie. Fuck out of here. Just trying to get some money.
Who's trying to get some money?
She is.
How do you know that?
Because she sued me for $24 million.
Did you sue her?
No.
Could you have sued her?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Did you ever apologize on those internet or emails or whatever you posted? Did you ever on the posts apologize for anything that you did that day?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Argumentative.
Do you feel by using all those words you should have apologized?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Are you aware that your security guard spoke to Emani Ellis in the lobby shortly after this incident? Are you aware of that?
Last foundation.
Overruled.
I'm not aware of that. He didn't tell me he talked to her.
Okay. Are you aware that your security guard, Karan Newton, on the day of the incident, apologized to Miss Ellis on your behalf?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did your security guard tell you that he apologized to Miss Ellis on your behalf at any time?
Objection. Asked and answered. Argumentative. Last foundation.
Sustained.
Have you ever been assaulted and battered in your life?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Have you ever been abused in your life?
Counsel, if you're out of questions, you can pass the question.
Did you know that by your actions you took away the feeling of safety for Emani Ellis?
All right. Counsel,
Yes, Your
are
Honor.
you done?
I have a few more questions.
Have them be fact-based.
Yes, Your Honor. And do you agree that this incident which we're talking about, and why we're all here today, is occurred 7.5 years ago. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, and that's 2,741 days ago,
Objection,
based
Your
on my
Honor.
math.
Relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained.
How do you remember all of these details that you gave us from 2,741 days ago?
Objection as to the days.
Overruled.
You can answer.
I mean, I remember like the basics. I don't remember like the whole. I remember the basics. Like it was, but it's not really much to remember. It was a in and out
Okay.
thing.
All right, and have you ever used your nails to scratch yourself? Like if you get a bug bite, have you ever done that before?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Sustained.
Did you have any jewelry on you at the time of the incident, whether it was on your hands or your neck?
Objection as to the answer.
Sus-
Relevance.
Sustained.
When you were in the hallway, did you block Miss Ellis from leaving? Even if it was for 1 second.
No.
Did she block you from leaving?
Yes. She blocked me from moving. She was right in my face. She was right in my face.
Okay, and when you were standing there, were you pointing, I'm sorry, were you facing Dr. Finke's office or a different side? Do you understand the question?
Objection negative. Ambiguous.
I withdraw the question. When this whole thing happened, did you start to move around in a circle, or were you standing physically the same spot the whole time?
Objection as to the answer. I think we covered this.
Sustained.
When you say that she was blocking you, were you facing towards Dr. Finke's office? Yes?
Objection as to the answer.
Sustained.
Karan Newton, how long was he your security guard as of the date of the incident?
Objection.
For how long?
Sustained.
Would you consider yourself a peaceful person?
Objection. Relevance.
Sustained.
And after you saw Dr. Finke, you spent about 15 minutes with him, you left the building, correct?
Yes.
When you left the building, did you see Emani Ellis as you were exiting?
No.
Did you see your security guard downstairs?
Yes.
And he was in the lobby area waiting for you?
As to the answer.
Sustained.
Okay. And when you left the building, you went to the parking lot, or was the car waiting for you outside?
Objection. Relevance.
Sustained.
Aside from Tiara Malcolm and Dr. Finke and Emani Ellis, who were in that hallway, were there any other people there?
No.
Did any other doctors come up to that floor?
No.
You're sure?
Absolutely.
How are you sure?
Objection.
Sustained.
When you were in the 5th floor, did anybody come from the stairwell up to hear what happened?
Objection.
If you know. Do you know if anyone did?
apologize. I thought you were done.
I'll withdraw it. I will ask it differently. When you were up there outside the hallway with Emani Ellis, did you see anyone else, whether it was a security guard, another doctor, or someone else, come up from the stairwell, which was close to the elevator area?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
I forgot to ask you one thing about when you were chest to chest. Did you ever touch Emani Ellis's face or nose with your finger?
No.
You never touched her nose like this?
No.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, well, so why don't we take our morning recess? Why don't we start back up at 10:50? In the meantime, please do not discuss the case with anyone, including other jurors. Don't call me accused or do any research. We'll see you at 10:50.
Walking into Dr. Finke's office or leaving the building?
Excuse me?
When you say walking down where?
Remember, I got off the elevator, so I'm walking, trying to find the room, the office. So in between that, that was like the minute there. Like I feel, I like the verbal dispute. It had to be like 20 seconds of that.
Okay, fine. When did Dr. Finke come out of his office?
At the end.
When it was all done, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, when Tiara was calming down, she was still like screaming and like trying to explain herself to Tiara. I just walked away.
All right. When you got off,
Chief, at this point in time, we're going to call a defense witness, and who is that going to be?
Your Honor, it's going to be Tiara now.
All right, thank you.
Ma'am, if I can please have you stand right next to the court reporter. Right over here. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Tiara Malcolm. Spell it?
Yes, please.
Tierra, Malcolm, Malcolm.
Great. Thank you. You may take a seat. Please watch your step.
Okay.
What, counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Malcolm. My name is Peter Anderson, and we just have a few questions. I'll try and make it as quick as possible. Where were you working in February of 2018?
Women's care, OBGYN doctor's office.
Thank you. And do you recall an encounter between Cardi B and the woman to my left?
Yes.
Okay. What was your position at the doctor's office in February 2018?
A receptionist, front office.
Okay. And did Cardi B have an appointment that day?
Yes.
Was it a Saturday?
Yes.
Was there, to your knowledge, were there any other offices that were open that day?
No.
And do you remember the time of the appointment?
It was the end of, we purposely closed, so we had early day, maybe between 12 and 1, I'm assuming.
Okay. And what do you mean by purposefully closed?
For Cardi B. We
To
didn't want anyone there.
To maintain privacy?
Yes.
Okay. So, to your knowledge, how did you learn that there was an encounter between the two?
Well, I was waiting for Cardi B's arrival, and I heard commotion out in the hallway, and there was a door to exit right where I was sitting. So I opened the door and I looked, and I heard and saw the commotion, and that's how I learned that something was going on outside.
Could you please describe for the jury what you heard and saw when you opened the door?
I saw them in the corner. Cardi B's back to the wall and just a lot of arguing and, you know, just confrontation.
Okay. Do you recall anything that plaintiff, Ms. Ellis, said?
It was just very argumentative as far as, you know, cursing and, you know, just be this, be that. I don't know if I can curse, but.
So we've heard just about everything so far. So
It's been one of those trials.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I immediately walked over there and got in between them and was like, whoa, what's, you know, my thing was I'm at work, so the first thing that really came out of my mouth is to Miss Ellis, just as far as, what are you doing? You're at work, go back to your post. And then I don't know how long it was, but I couldn't get her. I just wanted everything to go away. I just was trying to calm everything down, take Cardi B into the office, and I was trying to go. It was my sister's baby shower, so I was trying to get out of there. But I mean, that wasn't on my mind then, but just to calm the situation down and get her into the office.
How did Ms. Ellis respond?
I don't even know if she heard what I asked, because it was just more of just being upset and no, I'm not going to do that, and just, you know, them still exchanging words even with me in between.
Yeah. Was Ms. Ellis yelling at Cardi B?
I mean, it was pretty loud for me to hear. It was still the same volume from when I can hear them while I was in the office down the hall, so I would say so.
Was Ms. Ellis cursing at Cardi B?
There was definitely curse words, yes, on her end.
When you were there, did Ms. Ellis attempt to strike Cardi B?
There was hands going while I was in the middle. I know no one landed, or I was, you know, I didn't even realize, I guess because my adrenaline, that I had a mark on my forehead. So besides me getting a scratch, nobody, as far as them two, hit each other.
Who scratched you?
Based off of, like I said, I didn't know that I even got scratched until I went into the office, and the nurse was like, Tiara, your forehead. But I can only assume Cardi B was behind me, because that was my main concern.
Objection calls for speculation.
So Cardi B was behind you, and you were facing who?
I was facing Miss Ellis.
And you got hit on your forehead and didn't even realize it at that point.
Yeah,
so
blood.
Just let him finish the question.
Oh, sorry.
And so you got hit, you were facing Miss Ellis, and she was swinging away?
I can say there was definitely, you know, when people talk and like this type of action going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were hit on your forehead, which was facing Miss Ellis, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
After, you know, just going back and forth, Dr. Finke came out. Once he came out, I believe, after that, I don't even really remember what was said, but I know I continued to take Cardi B into the office, to her exam room, and then I went back to the front.
Okay. Did you witness Dr. Finke try to get Miss Ellis to leave the hallway?
Yes, that's what kind of, since he came out and he was talking to her, that's what kind of distracted her, you know, gave us the opportunity to just go into the office.
Okay. And do you recall anything that he said to her?
I think he was on the same temperature as me, just, you're at work. Why are you up here? Go back, you know, downstairs. And what are you doing? Type of energy.
Okay. And so you turned around and escorted Cardi B into the doctor's office?
Yes, I followed behind her to go to the exam room.
When you were face to face with Miss Ellis, I take it you could see her face?
Yes.
Did you see any scratches on her face?
No.
Did you see any cuts on her face?
No.
Did you see any blood on her face?
No.
Did you see any injury at all on her face?
No.
Did you see any spit or spittle on her face?
No.
Did anyone spit in that encounter?
Objection calls for speculation.
While you were there, ma'am.
While I was there, no.
Did you hear Miss Ellis yell at Cardi B, and excuse my language, "I will fuck your shit up"?
Something, yeah, something along those words.
At any point in time in that confrontation, did Cardi B hit Miss Ellis?
No.
At any point in that confrontation, did Cardi B cut Miss Ellis with Cardi's fingernails
Objection calls for speculation.
while you were there?
Over.
No.
Did you hear Cardi B use the N-word, excuse me, I apologize. Yeah, no, did you hear Cardi B use the N-word? You know what I mean by the N-word?
Yeah. No.
After this encounter and Cardi B had gotten into the doctor's office, at any point after that, did you talk to the building management about what had happened?
Yes. That was a Saturday. So Monday, my supervisor and Dr. Finke wanted to make a report since there was an incident, and the importance of making sure our patients their privacy isn't compromised. So yeah, they asked me to go downstairs with them, or with my supervisor, and make a report.
After this incident, did plaintiff call you? Miss Ellis call you?
It was, yes, it was a call transferred to my line. It was her on the other end of the call.
How long after the incident? How long after February 24 of 2018?
Maybe, I can't recall exactly, but at least within, I don't know, 3 months. It wasn't right after, but it wasn't too long after.
Can you tell us what the sum and substance of that conversation was?
Just kind of upset about what happened. She got fired. She couldn't believe that happened and wanted, I guess, to see if I can assist in any way since I was there. I pretty much replied as respectful as I could and just said, this is my place of work and I really can't have anything to do with this.
And was there any other thoughts that you had when she told you, did she tell you she was planning on suing Cardi B?
I don't remember word for word, but based off of our conversation, I assumed that was probably going to be one of her steps. But in my mind, I just was kind of shocked that she was calling based off of what took place. I figured, she was at fault, so that was surprising that she would call me.
Thank you. Those are all the questions I have for you.
All right. Question?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Thank you all for coming back. Good morning,
Good morning.
Ms. Tiara Malcolm. When Miss Emani Ellis called you several months later and asked you to help her, what is the reason that you chose not to do so?
Well, main reason, I didn't feel like she was in the right. I felt like based off of her position, working at the office, everything was handled unprofessionally, and going back and forth. No, she didn't work at our office, but clearly Cardi B was a patient going, she had a purpose at that building where she worked at. So I didn't feel, I don't know what I would help her with. I don't think if I told my truth it would help her. So.
Were you aware that Miss Ellis was a security guard at your building?
Yes.
Do you understand that the security guard is supposed to go from floor to floor to make sure everything is safe? Are you aware of that?
I don't know the rules.
I'm sorry, what was the objection?
Irrelevant.
Assisting.
Had you ever seen Miss Ellis on other days, aside from the date of the incident? And I will represent to you the date of the incident for purposes of all my questions will be February 24th of 2018.
I believe that was the first day I seen her there.
Okay. When you saw her, when you got to work, did you see her anywhere in the building?
No.
What time did you get to work?
On a Saturday, maybe around 8.
8 a.m.? Okay. And had you ever spoken to Miss Ellis before the date of the incident?
No.
Is there any reason why, when you would go to work at the 8920 building, Wilshire Boulevard building, for how long had you been working there before the date of the incident?
For about
Overall, just move along.
for about 7 years, just about.
And during those 7 years, did you see other security guards in the building?
Actually, relevant.
Assisting.
And when Miss Ellis's attorneys asked you to cooperate and sign a declaration, did you do that?
A form of
Not a
sign-
form. Did you ever sign a declaration under penalty of perjury on August 26, 2025, which would be yesterday?
A declaration. Sorry, I'm not.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Sure.
Relevant, Your Honor?
Assisting.
Did you give permission to the other side to sign a declaration under penalty of perjury in this case?
Oh, from,
Objection, Your Honor?
Assisting.
Have you ever signed any document related to this incident?
Objection, Your Honor, relevant.
Assisting.
Did you make any type of formal complaint to the building about this incident?
I'm making this as formal.
Overall.
when my supervisor wanted to make a complaint, since I was there, yeah, that's when I went downstairs with my supervisor.
Okay. Who did you make a complaint to?
Douglas Emmett, the property management manager that managed the building.
Okay. And what was your complaint? What did you say?
They just wanted me to tell them what happened and the concern of the privacy of for our patients.
Are you a Cardi B fan?
I know her music. I guess I listen to her music. I listen to hip hop.
Okay. And you like her music, right?
Objection, relevance.
Overall.
Yes?
Yeah, she's
Have you-
talented.
All right. Have you ever gone to any of her concerts?
No.
Have you ever, well, I withdraw that. Okay. And for purposes of the visit on Saturday, the doctor's office decided to close to give her a special appearance to see the doctor, correct?
Objection. Argumentative.
I withdraw the question. When Cardi B came to the office, the purpose of her coming to your office was to see Dr. Finke for medical care, correct?
Yes.
When you went outside into the hallway, the confrontation that you testified about was already occurring before you got there, correct?
Yes, that's what made me go outside.
All right. Do you know for about how long this confrontation was going on before you made your way outside?
I was sitting there waiting, so as soon as I heard the noise, it wasn't that seconds after was when I heard it, so I don't think it was going on that long.
Okay. Did Cardi B, while you were there, in any way touch Miss Ellis?
No.
Did Miss Ellis in any way touch Cardi B while you were there?
No.
When you got there, were they chest to chest? Were they touching chest to chest?
I couldn't really see Cardi B because she was kind of cornered with her back against the wall. I really just saw Miss Ellis in front of her, and that's what made me rush and get in between them.
Okay. And when you say you saw her back against the wall, how are you able to see her back from where you were standing?
Objection, this characterizes.
Were you assuming that, I withdraw the question, were you assuming that Cardi B's back was up against the wall when you saw that?
No, I'm not assuming. I could see it because I literally looked down the hall when I opened the door.
And was Cardi B's back actually touching the wall or was close to the wall?
I don't know if it was touching her. It was close. So I didn't.
And you know that this incident happened 7.5 years ago, correct?
Yes,
And
that's
you
why I
remember all
don't
these.
remember if her back was touching or
Right.
inches away. But
Yeah.
I know it was very close to the wall.
Right. And it was a very long time ago. So, how did you remember all these details? Did you write them down somewhere? Did you record it, or is this just off of memory from 7.5 years ago?
I just remember. There's certain things I remember when I was 4. I just remember because it was a confrontation, and I was sitting there ready to go because I had to drive all the way to Tarzana, and it was a story that I had to my sister coming back, like, you can't believe why I was late, type of story.
Right.
So.
And your purpose of coming here is to help Cardi B or help Miss Ellis?
My purpose is to tell the truth.
Of course.
That's my purpose.
And when Miss Ellis or her attorney tried to reach out to you, you refused to speak with them, correct? But when Cardi B's attorneys spoke to you and reached out to you, you talked to them immediately and you signed a declaration for them on the spot, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
This is Steve.
When you were there and you got in between the two of them, I want you to think of it like a hamburger bun. You're the hamburger and the two of them are the buns. How did you get in between them? Did you physically push them apart? Did they magically back up from one another? How did you get in between them? How?
Just like you said, it was 7 years ago. So I'm walking upset because of what I'm seeing.
Right.
And that's just how I am when I see I mean, it's not like I see it all the time, but seeing what was going on, I just immediately, that's just what I did. I didn't really think about, I didn't really have a plan. That's just what I did to try to calm it down.
Okay. And Miss Ellis, who's sitting to my left, you heard her cursing at Cardi B on the date of the incident?
Yes.
You actually heard profanity.
I actually heard profanity.
Many different ones.
Yes.
How do you know it wasn't Cardi B that was using the profanity?
They have 2 different voices.
Okay. Was Cardi B using any profanities on the date of the incident?
Yeah, she was upset.
Did she use profanity?
Profanity, yes.
F word?
Curse words?
Bitch, F you, all that, correct?
Yes.
And you don't really know what happened before you got there, correct? You have no way of knowing.
I wasn't there before I got there.
So if there was any physical contact, whether it was spitting, scratching or cutting someone's face, you wouldn't know that because you weren't there during that time period before you got there, correct?
Objection.
You understand my question? Let me withdraw it. In the, let's just call it the 40 to 50 seconds while there was a confrontation, I'll give you that estimated time. During the 40 to 50 minutes of seconds when they had their confrontation, you would have no way of knowing what happened during that duration of time because you weren't there. Is that fair?
Yeah, I wasn't there. I only heard.
No, anything could have happened, right?
Objection, false speculation.
Correct?
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Emani Ellis could have hit Cardi
Okay,
B.
counsel, she wasn't there.
Okay,
So
I withdraw it. When you saw Cardi B that day, you spent time with her, right? In your medical office, correct?
Not a lot of time, but I spent the time from taking her to her exam room, making sure she was okay, and once the last patient was checked in, I was out of there.
Okay. And how long did you spend with her?
Not that long, maybe a minute, if that.
When the patient went
You mean
into-
when we went into the, just to make sure you're safe.
No.
When we went into the office, how long did I spend with her? Yeah, maybe,
15 minutes, half an hour?
no. I was still ready to go. Maybe a minute.
Did you notice that she was wearing, do you notice that she had fingernails? Did you look at her fingernails?
I don't remember that.
Did you notice that Cardi B had long fingernails on the date of the incident?
Objection, mischaracterizes the evidence and argumentative.
Sustained.
Did you see the size of Cardi B's fingernails on the date of the incident?
I don't remember her having or seeing her nails.
And have you ever seen her before? Does she wear long fingernails?
I don't know what she wears.
On the date of the incident, would you agree that because you did not look at her fingernails, you have no idea as to how long the fingernails were on the date of the incident?
Objection.
True?
Calls for speculation, lacks foundation.
Sustained.
When you said that you saw arms flying, you also testified a moment ago that you weren't sure whose arms were flying, correct?
Mischaracterized testimony.
Overruled.
I believe I stated I was facing Miss Ellis. So Cardi B was behind me.
Right.
So I could only see the arms that were flying in front of me. I can't recall. She was behind me, so
Right.
I think I would have felt something behind me.
Okay. So if Cardi B had taken a swing, you would not be able to see that.
Most likely I would. Oh, sorry.
See, I'm not talking about feeling. Would you agree that because Cardi B was behind you, if she took a swing without touching your body, you would not be able to see that? True?
Mischaracterizes the testimony and calls for speculation.
Overruled.
I didn't see her hands flying on the side of me.
I understand that. But
Yeah.
again, I would like to know the answer to this question.
What was your question? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Of course. So the question is, because you were facing Emani Ellis, you have no idea what Cardi B was doing at that moment, right?
Objection.
So if Cardi B was,
She was pretty much like the back of this chair. That's how close she was to me.
I understand
So
that.
I didn't feel anything or see any hands come from behind me.
understood, but if Cardi B took a swing, because you were not facing her and you were focusing on Emani Ellis, and you don't have eyes in the
No,
back
I
of your
didn't see
head,
her hands.
you would not be able to know what she was doing.
Right.
So if she took a swing, you wouldn't be able to know. Fair?
Okay, yeah. Let's see.
As far as what would you characterize the injury to your forehead?
A cut. It was just bleeding a little bit.
It was bleeding.
Yes.
Okay. How did that cut get there? I withdraw the question. Did that scratch or cut or anything get there at the time of this incident?
Yes, it definitely wasn't there before I went outside.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to get into this. There's only 3 options, and you could add more if you want, but I'm going to give you 3. The cut came from you, the cut came from Ellis, or the cut came from Cardi B. Or make up your own. Where did the cut come from? And if you don't know, you can say, I don't know. Do you know?
It definitely didn't come from me.
Okay, so that's out. We got 2 more.
And
Ellis and Cardi B. Or
Cardi
your own.
was behind me, so the only assumption that I had was it was from Miss Ellis because she was facing me.
Okay. But did you ever see Miss Ellis take her fingers or her hand or any other object and cause damage to your head? Did you ever see that?
I seen hands trying to reach over me, so like I said, the adrenaline and everything was going so fast. But being that she was in front of me and hands were going like this, that's the only realistic assumption that I can have, is that that's why I got cut.
But you're assuming, correct?
Objection.
I think you're asking her to assume, counsel.
Are you assuming?
Your Honor, objection.
Yeah, why don't we move on?
How do you know that Cardi B's fingernail didn't cut your forehead?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
Sustained.
She was behind
You
me.
don't need to answer.
Oh, sorry.
Did Dr. Finke see the cut to your forehead?
I believe so. His nurse is the one who pointed it out.
Did you receive any medical treatment for that cut?
No, I just put some alcohol, alcohol
All right, so
swab.
you agree that something physical happened when the three of you were there because you got cut to your face. Is that fair? Something physical happened.
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
If I got cut, I guess so. I don't.
Okay. So would you agree that there was a physical fight?
No.
So you just got cut from the air?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Did Miss Emani Ellis have any fingernails?
I don't remember if she had fingernails.
Was Emani Ellis angry at the time of the incident?
Yes.
Was Cardi B angry at the time of the incident?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
And back to the hamburger question, did you at any point use your hands to separate the two of them, Emani Ellis and Cardi B?
No.
So did you just squeeze yourself in? How did you get in there?
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
Sustained.
When you had the conversation with Miss Ellis on the phone, did you actually speak with her?
Yes.
You
On the
did?
phone. Yes.
Yeah. And let me ask you, when you were on the telephone, did she tell you anything, Miss Ellis, when she was talking to you that day?
From what I can remember, just being upset about what happened, her no longer being employed there, and I don't remember the word for word.
Okay. So she, Miss Ellis, was basically asking you to assist her in some way to be her witness, correct? That was the purpose of the call?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Purpose.
Did Miss Ellis's attorney contact you?
I don't remember that.
Did Miss Ellis ever come inside your office at any time between the date of the incident and today?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
Do you know if Miss Ellis spoke with Dr. Finke at any point?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained.
As far as your background, do you have any professional degrees?
I got my AA at West LA College. I'm a real estate agent. That's about it.
Good. And have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No.
And aside from Dr. Finke's office, were you working other places during that time period? Or was that your main job?
That was my main job.
And at this time, you no longer work there, right?
No.
And on the date of the incident, because Cardi B was your patient, you felt that it was necessary to go outside to bring her inside to help her get inside for the medical appointment, correct?
Objection, relevance. Asked and answered.
Sustained.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right, you're direct?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, any questions from the jury? Oh, you have one? Okay, great. All right, I think these questions are appropriate. Ma'am, when you, did you actually close your office to maintain privacy for Cardi B?
Yes.
And when you do that, was it your custom and practice to also notify the building security?
I honestly don't know if that was done or not.
Did you normally do that, or were you?
That wasn't my task, no.
Okay. Do you recall the N-word coming out of Cardi B's mouth?
No.
Can you describe Cardi B's emotional state during and after the incident?
Upset, emotional, worried about the reason why she was there. I don't know if I'm sure. But
You don't know the details?
no, I don't know if
In terms of the medical issues? I mean,
yeah.
Testimony is that she was there for a pregnancy checkup.
Yeah, so just concerned about that and being upset
Okay.
about her privacy.
Did you notice whether Miss Ellis had a phone or a camera during the incident?
She had a phone in her hand.
She did have a phone in her hand?
Yes.
All right. Those are the questions that I think are appropriate. Any follow-up from defense?
Oh, no, Your Honor.
All right. For plaintiff?
Yes, just the one follow-up, Your Honor. The day when when you decided to close your office to have a medical appointment, that was a Saturday. Is your medical office usually open on Saturday?
Yes.
And you usually close around 1:30 or 2 or 3, or you go all day?
No, it's half the day. So usually, from what I can remember, the last patient was around noon or 11:45, noon, somewhere around there.
Isn't it true that Cardi B was the last patient of the day?
Yeah, she was the last patient. So we finished our morning and made sure she was the last one.
You work
right there.
I'm sorry. Do you work on Sundays as well?
No.
And the half a day on Saturdays when you're there, were you in charge of closing the office?
Your Honor, this is outside the scope of the questions.
Sustained.
No further questions.
All right. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
Subject to recall.
Did you subpoena her?
No.
Then I don't think it's subject to recall. All right. All right. Do we want to resume the direct of Ms. Cardi B?
Yes.
All right.
Well, no, he's going to resume the direct case.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were on. Yeah. Yes.
So that was a
Yes. No,
that was a
you're good.
776 cross, so now it's
Yes,
the
yes,
defense.
yes, yes, Your Honor, yes, yes.
We want to resume take the stand, ma'am?
Oh, okay. Jesus. We've gone.
I think we're all ready for a recess, that's all.
I know.
All right, and you're reminded you're still under oath?
Yes.
All right. Counsel? He passed the question.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
I apologize.
See,
Okay, then
I was
it is your
right.
turn.
Your Honor, permission to go beyond the scope.
We already discussed that. He was lodging objections, but you're going to be asking questions? Is that the plan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Moore is going to be asking the questions,
All right.
and the request is to...
No, we discussed that you can go beyond the scope. Just typically, if it's your witness, you're doing the objections, okay? I'll let it go this time. Go ahead, Ms. Moore.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Cardi, can you tell us how you got into the music industry?
Objection, relevance?
Overruled.
How I got into the music industry? Well, I became like a social media personality, and I had a manager at the time, and he always noticed that like I will always like do songs my way, like my wording. And he was like, "You're really witty and you're really quick. You should try making music." And I was like, all my friends do music. If they make it, I just think I'm gonna make it. Yeah.
If you could just pull the microphone a little bit more towards you or sit one in front of it. There.
Okay. So I was just like, if my friends haven't made it yet, what makes you think I'm gonna make it? And he was like, just try it. It won't hurt you to try. So I tried it, and I really enjoyed like listening to like the end results. It's like almost like cooking for me. Like I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I could cook, but I like the end results. Like I did pretty good. And that's how I got into music.
Were you doing any television?
Yes. Well, now when he suggested that like you should try to do music.
But later, were you doing any television?
Yes.
What type of TV show?
Reality TV.
Reality? What show was it?
Love and Hip Hop.
Love and Hip Hop. Where? Love and Hip Hop.
Objection, relevance?
Overruled, but please move it along.
Yep. When did you release your first mixtape?
Objection, relevance?
So I'll give you some do some background, but it needs to be a little bit more guided.
Sure. I'll cut to the chase. Hardy, do you have a record deal?
Objection,
Yes.
relevance?
Overruled.
With who?
Objection, relevance?
Overruled.
Atlantic Records.
Do you have any platinum certified songs?
Objection, relevance?
Overruled.
Yes.
Do you have any Grammy awards?
Objection, relevance?
Overruled. Counsel, you asked her about her siblings, you asked her about her
I'll
birthday,
move on,
you
Your
asked
Honor.
a
Happy
number
to
of
move on.
questions.
Sure, happy to move on.
So,
Happy, Your Honor. Thank you.
all right.
Hardy, why did you want to keep your pregnancy a secret?
I wanted to keep my pregnancy a secret because I just had a hit record. I haven't had my album out, and everybody that I worked with, they were very scared. You know, like I finally made it, and like people that like been in the industry also for like a while, it was like, I don't know if anybody has ever, a female rapper has ever came out pregnant on their freshman year without an album, just 1 or 2, 3 records. So I was very nervous. I was also kind of like, even though I was on TV, when I first had my first big record, Bodak Yellow, I was really like getting used to big fame, bigger stages and stuff. So I was just so worried about overwhelmed with what everybody was like saying and thinking, and I felt like I was just letting a lot of people down, but
And when you were face to face with Mrs. Ellis, did you ever threaten to get her fired?
no,
And I want to be very, very clear. Did you ever spit on Mrs. Ellis?
no,
Did you ever call Miss Ellis the N-word? Apologies.
no.
Cardi, where were you living in 2018?
In 2018, I was living in between New Jersey and Atlanta.
Where were your regular OBGYN doctors?
Action relevance?
16.
Why were you in LA the week of February 24th?
I was doing NBA All-Star Weekend, and I just had like a whole bunch of promotional things to do out here in California.
Was part of your work, did you have to attend an NBA game?
Yes.
Yesterday, plaintiff's counsel asked you some questions about your hair. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And one of the questions he asked you was, on the date of the incident, did you have black hair, blonde hair, or different color hair? Do you remember him asking you that?
Yes.
Do you remember how you responded?
I don't know. I really don't remember what color hair I had.
Your Honor, I'd like to show the witness some photographs, please.
Can you identify?
Can you show them to counsel first
Of course.
and provide a copy?
Yes, I have one for you right now.
Are they pre-marked? Are they pre-marked?
No, I think it's for refresh your memory.
Yes.
Okay. You want to just identify the next in order?
Yes, that's fine, Your Honor, thank you, which I think is...
232.
And this is a photograph of who?
I'm sorry. Counsel, it's her direct. She can identify it for the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
232?
Are you going to put this in front of you? Cardi, can you please look at this photograph and tell me, do you recognize this?
Yes.
What is this photograph?
That is me out here in LA at a All-Star Weekend NBA game.
And does this picture refresh your recollection about what your hair color was that week?
Yes.
What color was it?
I'll say like a ashy, dirty blonde.
Can you see your nails in that photo?
Yes.
And were you wearing acrylic nails or some other type?
Acrylic.
And I think you testified yesterday that acrylic nails can last you up to 2 weeks. Is that right?
Yes.
Are those the nails you had the entire time you were in LA?
Yes.
How would you describe those nails looking at them in the photo?
I'll say, to my taste, they're like kind of short. They're square, they're boxy. They have like stones, flat rhinestones in the middle. They're orangey.
I'm sorry, did you say the flat rhinestones were in the middle?
Yeah.
And how long would you estimate I know you said you feel like they were short, but could you estimate how long you feel like they were?
Like an inch, maybe less. An inch or so.
And what shape are they?
They like coffin square.
Are those the nails you were wearing on the date of the incident?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to move this into evidence and publish it for the jury.
Any objection?
No.
Go ahead.
Cardi, do you remember, did you get your nails done before you came to LA or after?
It's most likely before LA.
Okay. But they were the same nails the whole time you were here?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have no more questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
So the photograph that we're looking at there, what date was the photograph taken?
I'm not sure the date, but I know it was that weekend of All Stars and stuff.
Okay. And what time of day did this photograph, what time of day was it taken? Was it morning, afternoon, evening?
Overruled.
It had to be like around like a 6 p.m. like whatever time like games start. It really depends. Like that week, it was just, I'm not sure, but it wasn't like a night. It was like probably in the afternoon or something.
And when you go out at night, do you change your clothing and fix yourself up to prepare for the evening?
Objection.
Sustained.
Were you dressed this exact way when you saw Dr. Finke on the date of the incident?
No.
So you changed your clothing completely different than this, correct?
Yes.
Could you have also changed your nails?
Objection. Cultural speculation.
Overruled.
No. It's not that easy to change acrylic nails.
But you told us before that it would take about 2 hours to do that, correct?
Yes. But I know for a fact, I mean, if you could track down that whole week, I had these nails on for sure.
Yeah. Your Honor, I would want to zoom in the photograph just to show the nails better than what we can see.
Can we do that?
With the focus on the left hand or right hand.
Well, that works, sir.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So if we look at that, that's your right hand, correct?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
And if you wanted to scratch someone with those nails and cause them to have a cut to their face, you could do it with those nails, can't you?
Cultural speculation.
Sustained.
The nails that we see in this photograph, are they sharp in your opinion?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled. Well, it's referring to the photograph now.
No, they are not sharp at all. Those are not sharp nails.
Okay. Now, you heard a witness, Tiara Malcolm, a few
Yes.
moments ago in the last 15, 20 minutes. She testified that she also had a cut to her face. Do you remember hearing that in court?
Yes.
So how did she get the cut on her face? If you know. How do you, if you know?
It wouldn't be for me.
Is it possible that when you were reaching over, you cut her face?
Objection.
Sustained.
And the rhinestones that you see there, you consider those to be flat?
Yes.
And you consider yourself to be a freshman in 2018. Does that mean you just started your career in music and rapping and all that?
Yes.
So before 2018, you were not a rapper?
I was.
Overruled.
When did you first start?
I first started rapping in 2016, but I became a superstar for rapping in 2017.
Okay.
So, just being blessed in. So,
All right.
Freshman.
And why was it, aside from what you've told us, that you feel being a freshman and being pregnant, the two didn't match? Was there any other reason, aside from that you wanted to keep your pregnancy a secret?
Objection. Mischaracterizes the testimony.
Sustained.
Earlier, you testified that when you went to the doctor's office on the date of the incident, you wanted to keep your pregnancy a secret, correct?
yes.
And the reason you wanted to keep it a secret was because you were a rapper, correct?
Objection, mischaracterizing testimony, argumentative.
Sustained.
Why did you want to keep your pregnancy a secret?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled.
My career. I didn't tell my parents yet. I was just very overwhelmed.
And when you thought that your secret was being violated, it made you angry, correct?
Objection, argumentative, mischaracterizing testimony, lacks foundation.
Overruled.
You can answer.
Yes, I feel like my privacy was completely being violated. I wouldn't want to be anything that had to do with my medical records or anything. Even if I do cosmetic surgery, I don't want people to be in anything that has to do with medical in your business. It's just especially something that is so sacred as your pregnancy is yours.
And you would do anything to protect that privacy, correct?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
And aside from your assumption that you were being recorded by Miss Emani Ellis, was there any other assumptions that you had at the time of the incident?
Objection, argumentative, mischaracterizes the testimony.
Sustained.
You had a belief, a state of mind, that Emani Ellis was recording you at the time of the incident, correct?
Objection, outside the scope of redirect and
Sustained.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Any redirect? All right. Any questions from the jury? I'm not seeing any hands. All right. You can step down then. All right. I think we're not going to have another witness before lunch. Or I'm sorry. Does plaintiff have another witness for after lunch?
We do not, Your Honor.
All right. Does plaintiff rest?
No, Your Honor.
Well, are you going to have a witness after lunch?
I would like to discuss this outside the presence of the jury.
All right. Okay, folks, we're going to take our lunch break now. We're going to resume back at 1:30. In the meantime, please don't discuss the case with anyone, including other jurors. Don't form any opinions or do any research. We'll see you at 1:30.
Basically, he was supposed to have his witnesses lined up for this afternoon to call them out of order. I explained to him and the court this morning that I have 3 witnesses, which are Dr. Azizulai, Ms. Parsi, and Michael Shok, and they are unavailable for today, and we wanted to call them out of order, requesting that the court allow them to testify on Tuesday.
Okay, well, you haven't made your offer of proof with respect to whether or not their testimony is relevant to anything?
Yes, Your Honor. So, may I do that now?
Well, I thought you said you didn't know what they were going to say.
I spoke to them
When?
during the break.
Okay. And what are they going to say?
So Dr. Azizulahi is going to say that he had been advised there's a disturbance in the building. His assistant, Ms. Parsi, went upstairs to the 5th floor. He did not go to the 5th floor. Michael Shok was on the 5th floor as well.
Okay, let's start. Keep with the doctor. So what's he going to say?
Doctor is going to say that there was a disturbance in the building.
Okay, that's undisputed.
and that's it for him.
Okay, so we don't need him, right?
No.
Okay, so what's the next witness?
Miss Parsi is his assistant, went
Okay.
upstairs to find out what was going on and witnessed the confrontation between the three individuals the two individuals and the person that intervened, Miss Malcolm.
So she's going to testify as to what she saw, which includes the disturbance and
Only,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, only what she saw, and it could go to the scratch on Miss Malcolm's head, and he gained some information how that came about. I didn't discuss that with her, however, she was present during that piece. And Michael Shoke was a patient that was on the 5th floor walking in the hallway, and he's a witness to the entire confrontation.
And so let's go back to when you identified these people.
They've been on the witness list for many months now. I'm not sure if it was the 2024 one, however, definitely in July it was there. I can check my records. They've known about this, and it's the same issue that they had that we had.
And so when did you learn of Mr. Schultz?
We learned of it when an investigator did investigation several months ago, at least several months ago, and found out that he was an actual witness, the eyewitness to the incident. Your Honor, the only witness list that I have is from July 25th of 2025. He's been on this witness list.
He's not on that one.
Yes, he is, Your Honor. I have a copy for the court.
Oh, okay. I see him.
Yeah.
Mike Shaw.
Michael Shoke, Aziz Olahi, and Parsi are all on that one. Mr. Lamb and I had a conversation about this at length. We created this list together. He told me his witnesses. I told him my witnesses. He signed this. They've never objected to it one time till recently. And the only reason they've objected is to, I'm not clear why they want to do it. It seems to be very one-sided that they can exclude our witnesses, but we can't exclude theirs. So I would ask the court not to exclude ours, since the court has not excluded theirs.
All right, and what's Mr. Schultz going to testify to?
Mr. Shoke is going to testify that he was a patient at a different doctor's office on the 5th floor, and he was walking in the hallway to go to the bathroom, and he saw the incident himself with his own eye.
All right, for the defense.
First, Your Honor, just so the record is clear, counsel did say that he could not continue with witnesses today. He did mention something about taking people out of order. I have told him that I don't think he has that right, and earlier today I mentioned that taking witnesses, defense taking witnesses out of order is not the same thing as the plaintiff being unable to proceed with witnesses at the time of trial. As the court knows, trial was continued several times. The 2024 witness list, jointly filed, does not have any of these people. These people were first listed, if memory serves, in the July 2025 witness list, and we did object, but that ruling, that has never been heard by the court at this point. They were first identified in July 2025. We were not told what their potential testimony would be. We were told that Dr. Aziz Olahi.
Well, he's not testifying because he doesn't have anything to add.
Right. And the other ones, we were told there was one that was a receptionist and Shaw a guest. So we were not given any substance at all. At no point did they disclose that, and counsel was unable to disclose it this morning, and now he's making certain representations. The fact of the matter is, and I should also say that we are ready to proceed. We got two more witnesses, Dr. Rosenberg, who's the designated expert, and Dr. Finke. And we want to get this trial done. We're ready to go.
Okay.
May I respond to one thing, Your Honor, please?
Go ahead.
So in form interrogatory responses, back in 2022, the same way that the defendant responded and said there's two individuals who are witnesses, that is the same way that plaintiff responded. It's the same thing. And it's attached to plaintiff's opposition to defendant's request to produce witnesses at trial. It was filed with the court yesterday or the day before. It has all of the discovery. I'm sorry, Your Honor, actually no. This one has the discovered defendant, but I do have the discovered the plaintiff. It was used in this case by the opposing side. They knew that we had these witnesses that we didn't know their names. And the 2024 expert designation was not real because we had agreed to put the trial around this time, and I don't really remember doing anything with the witness list. That may be a list that they created and they filed. I definitely don't remember signing that. I don't think my signature would be on that document. So if they prepared something and filed it, I was not part of it. They just decided to file it on their own.
All right.
I was just going to say, what I think counsel is saying is that he did not identify any of these three people back in 2024. He's now contesting
2022.
Well, no, I'm talking about the joint witness list.
I think I understand, and so I think here's the issue: is it certainly would have been appropriate for both parties to have done the investigation at the outset of the case to identify who these witnesses were. That didn't happen. It sounds as though both sides engaged in investigative work after discovery was closed and identified new witnesses. I'm going to take plaintiff's counsel's representations at face value, and that they were recently identified. These witnesses were on the July 25 joint trial witness list. To the extent that they were identified, the people were identified after discovery was closed. I think it's appropriate that they be allowed to testify. But it's going to be on a short leash. And I indicated during the pretrial conference that I am relatively liberal in the interest of expediting the process in case to call witnesses out of order. And so we'll suspend plaintiff's case now. We'll start the defense case. But your witnesses need to be here Tuesday morning or they're not testifying.
I understand, Your Honor. Will defense be, they didn't give me 24 hours notice, it's fine, I'm not that picky. My question is, will Dr. Rosenberg and Dr. Finke be testifying this afternoon, so at least during the lunch hour I could do some preparation?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I got two voicemail messages which we can play, which were not particularly coherent from counsel, that said that he doesn't have witnesses.
Okay, I've already ruled on that. So
Yeah,
do you have witnesses for this afternoon?
Yes, and I advised him as soon as he told.
I'm not disputing the 24-hour notice.
Please stop interrupting.
Okay. Well, sorry, I was going to respond to the 24-hour notice. We did, in fact, tell him as soon as he
Just
said
answer
he
the
had no
question. Do you have
witnesses.
witnesses for the afternoon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You mean walking into Dr. Finke's office or leaving the building?
Excuse me?
When you say walking down where?
Remember, I got off the elevator, so I'm walking, trying to find the room, the office. So in between that was like the minute there. Like I feel, I like the verbal dispute. It had to be like 20 seconds of that.
Okay, fine. When did Dr. Finke come out of his office?
At the end.
When it was all done, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, when Tiara was calming down, she was still like screaming and like trying to explain herself to Tiara. I just walked away.
All right. When you got off the elevator, was there? right?
Assisting.
You could have scratched her face, you could have cut her face in those 40 seconds.
Counsel, we're not going to engage in speculation. If you have fact questions to ask her, please do so.
When you had the fingernails on that day, what color were the fingernails? Do you remember?
They were like
Green? Green?
no, they were like. You know you can't ask me those questions, right? Because you know then you're gonna get me more in trouble.
Are you feeling more confident of winning now that you're taking the stand, Cardi?
I literally just told you.
Do you have a message for your fans, Cardi?
Huh?
Do you have a message for your fans?
I love them and thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Do you have a message for the plaintiff?
Give me my hit. I got $1 million.
That was the message.
Step back. Step back. Step back, please. Step back. You guys are in thing.
All right.
Step back, please. Step back, please. Sir, step back.
Step back, sir. Sir, step back, please.
Step back.
Cardi, do you think this will inspire new music?
Any words for
Love you, Cardi. You're the best. Good luck in there. Keep it up. Woo! Thank you.
No, that's never been the case. And for example, I've never worked on the lien, which does involve that type of interest from my non-attorney standpoint.
Do you recall approximately how long you've been engaged?
I've thus far charged something a little over $30,000.
Okay. And I believe you testified that you conducted a psychiatric evaluation of the plaintiff as part of your duties in this case. Is that correct?
Yes. So the psychiatric evaluation is, to me, a broader term that consists of the triad of reviewing records, conducting a face-to-face examination, and scoring and utilizing the psychological testing that was administered during that examination. So it's a matter of integrating and correlating and weighing the information from those three sources.
And can you please, in just a little more detail, explain what happened during that evaluation in this case?
Certainly. So I believe it was in July, maybe around July 21st, 2023. So it took about, I would say, roughly 6 hours. The entire examination was audio recorded. And the first half of the examination was the administration of the psychological testing, where using gold standard psychological tests, I provided them to Ms. Ellis. I was there with her the entire time and made sure she understood the instructions, and then she filled out the answering sheets, circles or bubble and answer sheets, as she went along. The second half of the day was the interview, and in accordance with generally accepted principles, whether it's a patient care or clinical setting or forensic setting like this, the interview involves a wide variety of background areas in order to establish a baseline, some of these risk and resilience factors for developing a psychiatric disorder. So it includes, for example, a brief developmental history, education growing up, employment, social marital relationships, medications, general medical history, substance use history, if any, whether there are any family history of any psychiatric or medical conditions that are relevant and carry a genetic risk for Ms. Ellis, as well as legal issues like workers' comp claims. So a variety of background areas, and then to establish that baseline in detail, what Ms. Ellis was like, let's say in the month or so before the incident in this case, then a brief discussion of that incident, and then in detail tracing the onset and course of her reported emotional and other symptoms and how that's affected her, and in the context of also correlating that with her real-life day-to-day function and any health care that she sought out and received.
Okay, and based on that examination, did you reach any conclusions with respect to whether the plaintiff suffered a mental or emotional injury as a result of her encounter with Cardi B?
Yes, I did reach an opinion, as with all my opinions, I reached an opinion with reasonable medical probability in that regard.
Thank you, and what was that opinion?
My opinion is that there is no significant evidence that Ms. Ellis sustained an emotional injury at any point in time in this case, from the time of the incident to present, with the understanding that an emotional injury, from my standpoint, consists of the onset of one or more psychiatric diagnoses in accordance with the American Psychiatric Association's guidelines or criteria, or the substantial worsening if there was a pre-existing disorder, and that in my opinion, Ms. Ellis has never qualified for that in this case.
Thank you. I believe you testified that one of the parts of your examination was psychological testing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you please briefly explain what those tests were?
Yes, so again, what's very important is first the choice of tests. I use gold standard tests that are well validated scientifically and recognized as appropriate tests for this context. So the purpose of the test is that first they have validity scales that look at how somebody's approaching taking the test and what information that says generally about how the individual may be approaching reporting an emotional injury claim, as well as on the test specifically. They then include a variety of clinical scales anxiety, depression, PTSD, physical symptoms, substance use, cognitive symptoms, meaning things like memory, attention, concentration, personality, psychosis, a variety of factors like that.
And can you please identify what tests you administered?
Yes, so I administered the MMPI-3. I'm sorry, it was either the MMPI-3 or the MMPI-2-RF. Those are the current ultimate gold standard tests. You have to pass that test. For example, to fly a passenger jet, to be in the Secret Service, you have to pass that, or the other test I gave, for example, to become a law enforcement officer in California. So I gave the MMPI-2-RF or the MMPI-3. I gave the only other gold standard test of that type, the Personality Assessment Inventory, or PAI. And then something that's very secondary is I gave a brief screening cognitive test, simple 10-minute test used in primary care that looks at things like attention, memory, concentration.
And can you please summarize for the jury what the process of taking the MMPI-2 or 3 test looks like?
Sure. So, I first ask if the individual is familiar with it, and then that she can see the answer sheet in the booklet, have her read the formal instructions at the beginning of the test booklet and tell me that she understands them. And then it's a matter of answering about 335 questions where you bubble in on a separate answer sheet, true or false, for those questions. And then I take the results of that and I use the test publisher's official scoring software, which I have on a laptop computer, input those answers, and then generate a statistical report based upon her answers that provides a variety of scales and scores, and then narrative text, meaning it provides a text description of what individuals like with these scores tend to look like, although it doesn't talk specifically about Ms. Ellis. And you would never want to make an opinion about somebody based on just the test. Again, it's a matter of correlating them with your overall evaluation, with the interview and the record review.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd like to show Trial Exhibit 229 to the witness.
Objection, hearsay.
You don't want to publish it at this point?
Not at this point.
Oh, okay. I thought I had no objection to showing it. Just publish it.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Can you please turn in the blue binder to Exhibit 229?
Okay, I'm at 229. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes. So this is the report of the MMPI-2 psychological test that I administered to Ms. Ellis on July 21st, 2023, and which I provided along with other documents to opposing counsel before my deposition.
And does this document refresh your recollection as to which version of the MMPI-2 test you conducted in Ms. Ellis' case?
Yes, I gave the MMPI-2. That and the MMPI-3 are the most recent and, again, the gold standard tests worldwide in this kind of context.
Thank you. And that report that you have in front of you, did you create that document yourself?
Well, I created it in the sense that I inputted her answers into the test publisher software on my laptop. I then double-checked the answer through a process that's provided by the software. And then I had the software generate this report, again using statistical algorithm that is intrinsic to the software. I don't personally score any of the scales. I don't personally write out any of the text interpretation that's in it. My job is then, how do I use that information once it's available in an overall assessment?
And is it fair to say that you used this report as an analytical tool in reaching your conclusions with respect to Ms. Ellis?
Yes, again, considering all of the information available to me from the records, the exam, the testing, I utilized inductive medical reasoning, a best fit logical reasoning, the same reasoning I would use if I was in an emergency room, if I was a surgeon or I was a radiologist.
Do you use this software and the reports that are generated from it regularly in your psychological evaluations?
Yes, I've used these tests several hundreds of times. I have the highest user rating qualification from both test publishers.
Okay, and do you recall when this particular report was generated?
My best recollection is I generated it, shortly after the examination had been completed, but I just apologize, I don't recall a specific date.
Okay, thank you. Defendant moves to admit Exhibit 229 into evidence.
Objection, hearsay. Overruled. Submitted.
Your Honor, may I publish page 2 of Exhibit 229?
All right.
All right, and Dr. Rosenberg, you can see at the top there, I suppose you could look at the binder as well.
If you turn your screen on, the top left button on the top left side, it should be on there.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's much better.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, yes, sir, I can see it now. I wasn't able to see that.
Thank you. If you look at the top of the page, it says validity scales. Can you please explain what that means?
Yes, so these are the most important scales of their type for this and the MMPI-3 of any test in the world, any psychological test. The validity scales look at how somebody is approaching the test. The first two scales, VRIN and TRIN, variable and true response indicator, look at whether somebody understood the test questions and responded to them in a consistent fashion. So those first have to be valid before you can go on to interpret the rest of the test. The remainder of the validity scales, the vast majority of them, look at their F scales because they look at infrequent responses. These scales become more and more elevated if an individual endorses or answers questions endorsing symptoms that are infrequent, meaning that even somebody who actually had that mental disorder would not actually endorse them. And these scales are scored against a large statistical population, cross-section population of the United States. And then the last couple scales, the L scale, looks at a different type of potential manipulation, portraying yourself in an overly positive or virtuous light. And then the last one is just a correction to that.
Thank you. And what do Ms. Ellis's test results in this case show you? I'm sorry, specifically with respect to the validity scales.
Yeah, so looking at these, it's more fun to do it from memory, but looking at these scales, they demonstrate that when Ms. Ellis took this test, that she generated scale elevations in the range that only reasonably could be interpreted as either severe symptom exaggeration or symptom fabrication. From a psychiatric standpoint, obviously I'm not giving a factual opinion. So if we look at F, the third one over with a T-score of 83, so these are compared against a normal bell curve of statistical scores where a T-score of 50 is in the middle. And every time you go out 10, you're going out another standard deviation. So at a T-score of 83, the F scale that looks at things like anxiety, depression, PTSD, she generated a score more than 3 standard deviations above the norm. And statistically, only 48 people out of 100,000 would actually generate that score, even if they really had the condition. If we then look at the other scales thereafter, the FS scale, S is for somatic, meaning physical symptoms. The FBS, which is the fake bad scale or symptom validity scale, and the RBS scale, those look at physical health symptoms and they look at cognitive symptoms like attention, concentration, primarily if you're evaluating a brain injury claim. And so on those scales, with the understanding that, as I'll discuss, Ms. Ellis has not sought out any type of, from my review of the Kaiser records and my audio recorded interview, any type of physical health problem whatsoever, and certainly hasn't had a brain injury. These elevations are extraordinarily high. The FBS, or fake bad scale elevation, of a T-score of 102, at 5 standard deviations above the norm, only 2 individuals out of 1 billion would actually have that score if he or she had the actual disorder. So these are extremely high. They're far beyond the range of somebody who could just be distressed and is trying to emphasize how distressed she is, or so-called cry for help. These are in the range of elevation that no individual, even with the conditions, would reasonably have at that statistical elevation, putting aside that she doesn't even claim those types of symptoms in the first place.
Thank you. And what types of symptoms would that be?
So for the FS, to have an elevation on F sub S, which is somatic or physical, especially a significant elevation, you would have to have a serious physical health condition. Let's say you have cancer, or you recently had a heart attack, or you're in heart failure, or you have uncontrolled diabetes, things like that. FBS is particularly sensitive to symptom fabrication or exaggeration in individuals who've had traumatic brain injuries. But again, even if you had a severe disabling traumatic brain injury and you were in a rehabilitation facility, your elevation would be maybe a T-score of 70, 75. Again, at 102, where it's 2 people in a billion, no individual who even had a brain injury would reasonably endorse that score. Where again, they get elevated the more and more you endorse symptoms that no person who actually has the condition would actually report those symptoms. And then RBS is cognitive. So again, it looks at things like attention, memory, and concentration. And again, hers is elevated in the range of 4 standard deviations. So, it would be well over 100 million to 1 that she would actually have those symptoms.
Thank you. Can you please turn to page 10 of the report?
Of this psych testing report?
Yes. Towards the bottom, you see is written diagnostic considerations.
Yes.
Can you please explain what that section is saying here?
Yeah, so again, the report doesn't talk about Ms. Ellis specifically. It talks about, at a statistical level, individuals who have these scales and scores tend to look like this. And the diagnoses that are suggested are rank ordered. They're in the priority of how likely they are. And so the first diagnosis listed is malingering of somatic and or cognitive symptoms, primarily generated by the elevation of the F sub S, the fake bad scale, and the RBS. And so, and malingering refers to the intentional gross exaggeration or otherwise fabrication or manipulation of symptoms for secondary gain in the field of psychiatry, and is actually in accordance with the American Psychiatric Association's published guidelines.
And again, this section of the report, like everything else, this was generated as a result of the test publisher software, is that correct?
Yes, the test publisher software, the statistical scoring, which involves hundreds of thousands of individuals, and then detailed mathematical statistical algorithms that are used to score this test and prepare this report.
You testified earlier that there were other psychological tests that you administered. Are the results of those tests similar with respect to symptom exaggeration or fabrication?
Well, I would say yes and no. The other test, the personality assessment inventory, does not have as sensitive of validity scales to detect exaggeration or other manipulation, though it does show some evidence of that. But when we look at the clinical scales on the personality assessment inventory, Ms. Ellis generated such huge elevations for scales like anxiety, physical symptoms, PTSD, depression, again, several deviations above the norm, that make no reasonable sense unless somebody was actually, for example, so ill that she required inpatient psychiatric care on medications, was critically ill or terminally ill with physical health conditions. The other inconsistency is that on the MMPI-2-RF, she scored, accepting her symptoms at face value, she scored very high on symptoms for paranoid thinking at the level of somebody with a paranoid psychotic disorder like schizophrenia. And that was not seen on the PAI. So that would be an inconsistency between them, but it also would be another example of symptom endorsement that makes no reasonable sense except for intentional gross fabrication or outright fabrication of symptoms in this case. At that level of paranoid thinking, again, would be like a uncontrolled schizophrenia requiring acute inpatient care on medication. But by the same token, taking it at face value, it is, from my standpoint, of relevance to the trier of fact in evaluating somebody with that degree of paranoia and suspiciousness, how that individual reacts to or responds in neutral situations, social situations, potential arguments.
You mentioned a high paranoid thinking score. I believe that's correct.
I'm sorry, so what did you say?
Did you mention a high paranoid thinking score? Is that how you phrased it?
Yes, on the 3 key scales of the MMPI-2 for paranoid thinking, again, typically seen in something like schizophrenia, she had significant elevations on those scales, all 3, again, in the range which the we see here in the text report, how the report interprets it, at the level of somebody who's a paranoid psychotic with delusions, not just somebody who feels a little stressed or like somebody's looking over her shoulder.
And as a professional and a psychiatrist, how would you interpret that score in this case?
So again, I think there are only 2 reasonable ways to interpret it. One would be that it's another common manifestation in how somebody in an emotional injury case produces either gross exaggeration or outright fabrication of symptoms in an attempt to look injured. The alternative is that part of somebody's baseline where in day-to-day interactions she interprets normal or neutral interactions as a personal attack. The only other reasonable alternative, taking it at face value, would be she actually has a psychotic mental disorder like paranoid schizophrenia with things like hallucinations, believing that there's a plot to have her killed, satellites are watching her, her phone is bugged, things of that sort.
And based on the other elements of your examination, did you make a conclusion as to which one of those would be true here?
Well, I think reasonably from a psychiatric standpoint, given all the other information available to me, the reasonable interpretation is that it's another example of severe symptom manipulation, exaggeration, or fabrication. But again, it also has to be considered, again, from a factual standpoint for the trier of fact, does it demonstrate paranoid thinking that can affect how somebody reacts in a situation or a disagreement?
But to be clear, are you diagnosing Ms. Ellis with, for example, schizophrenia?
No, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, because in schizophrenia, and obviously there's a spectrum, there are individuals who are very well controlled on medication. I know I've had schizophrenic patients, who are like run corporations and do very well, but the vast majority tend to have very severe and chronic courses, often homeless in mental institutions. And so, but with these levels of scores, if you actually had schizophrenia, you would function at a very low level. You wouldn't be able to maintain reasonable family relationships. You wouldn't be able to hold a job. You wouldn't be able to function in major life activities. And again, you would require psychiatric hospitalization and antipsychotic medication.
Did you diagnose Ms. Ellis with any psychiatric conditions?
No, again, since I equate for a case like this, emotional injury with have you developed one or more psychiatric disorders as a result of your allegations of the incident with Cardi B. I have no diagnoses for her because she has sustained no emotional injury.
Okay, and apart from the test results, are there any other factors on which you base your conclusion that plaintiff hasn't suffered any mental or emotional injury?
Yes.
What are those?
So the first factor is that, again, I accept Ms. Ellis's report or allegations of what happened that day in that incident, reasonably from a psychiatric standpoint, that would be a stressful or upsetting situation. You might be mad or angry for a day, you might lose some sleep over it, might be in the back of your mind for a few days, but reasonably people don't develop psychiatric disorders like an anxiety disorder, depression, from an argument or an unpleasant interaction like that on a single basis. That just makes no reasonable sense. And as we'll discuss, makes even less sense in Ms. Ellis's case because it turns out, although she didn't share them with me when I asked, she's had multiple other traumas in her life, and according to her, those didn't cause emotional problems, so she obviously must have great resilience, and it would make no sense that this much more minor thing somehow would, when most people wouldn't. The other reason is that, well, I have a few reasons, but I promise I'll stop talking soon. Another reason it's important to understand that this doesn't constitute a trauma. Again, accepting Ms. Ellis's report of what happened at face value, it doesn't constitute a trauma. It would be a stressor to some degree on an interpersonal basis, but under the American Psychiatric Association standards for what constitutes a trauma, for example, to be able to develop PTSD, this does not meet that. It has to be something like life-threatening, accident, illness, witness to violence. So, for example, physical or sexual abuse growing up, kidnapping, sexual assault, military combat. These things are traumas, and they can lead to PTSD. An argument or unpleasant interpersonal interaction isn't a trauma and can't lead to PTSD. And that's particularly important for us since some of Ms. Ellis's most dramatic scores on the psych testing have been profound elevations of PTSD scales, again, in a range where no individual who actually had PTSD would reasonably generate those scores.
Are there any other factors?
Yes, so another important factor is, again, in accordance with the published, generally accepted guidelines of the American Psychiatric Association in our diagnostic manual, whenever there is a psychiatrist or psychologist is doing an evaluation in a legal context where financial gain or some other type of secondary gain is at stake, you always have to consider and rule out the risk of intentional manipulation for financial gain. And in that context, in this case, Ms. Ellis has demonstrated a significant pattern of inconsistencies and other symptom validity issues. For example, in my audio recorded examination, again, there's an audio recorded record, she told me, with the exception of a couple sessions of family therapy when she was 12 because her sister had been sexually assaulted by a neighbor, she could not recall a single trauma in her entire life growing up. Couldn't remember a single one in response to my detailed questioning. Whereas, for example, in her deposition, she reported that she was a victim growing up of domestic violence in the home, gang violence, other violence. Schoolmates were shot and killed. She was physically mugged in high school. Her car was broken into several times. None of those were reported to me. So those represent an important mismatch in a legal case where an individual potentially tries to make everything about the incident that can be compensable in a lawsuit. Another example along the same lines is in my audio recorded exam, she told me that all of her emotional problems from the day of the incident, in this case, February 2018 to present, have been entirely due to what happened with Cardi B and absolutely nothing else. And she couldn't identify any other stressors in recent years that could be relevant. Whereas again, in her deposition testimony, The same year, January 2018, her mother was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Later in the year, her mother had radiation therapy for cancer.
Objection right to privacy of the mother.
If you want to describe the issues more generically.
My apologies, Your Honor.
Sure.
And the same year, one of her friends committed suicide. And then, again, none of those things were shared with me. So that would be another example. I do have a couple more.
Setting aside that mismatch that you're discussing, are there any other general topics, general factors on which you base your conclusion?
Yes. So another factor that I have to consider as a psychiatrist and medical doctor is there a mismatch across sources of information, considering the records I've reviewed, the psych testing I did, the interview. So another factor, which is very important, is to correlate somebody's subjective, meaning what she reports, emotional injury claims of injury, with real-life day-to-day function as a more objective measure. So in this case, if I accepted Ms. Ellis's reports at face value, particularly with the psych testing, she would have profound, off-the-charts PTSD, profound disabling depression, anxiety, profound disabling physical health conditions, whereas when I compare that to her real-life function, she's had intact relationships with her, loving relationships with her family, which would not be reasonable in the context, particularly of profound PTSD, that she's, in a few months after the altercation and continuing to the present, she's had a job that not only has been higher paying for her, but has been